Great evening. Welcome to Why Should I Be Ashamed? I'm Sheila Calvert. I am your host for this evening. I am the author of this book, Why Should I Be Ashamed? I have been missing you. But you know, life happens. Listen, tonight I want to talk about love. Love after abuse. Love because you have experience. Should you love? Can you love? Anyway, will you do me a favor, like and share, and go to my YouTube channel and subscribe. And we'll be right back to honor you.
Mike's off.
Then I tell you, then you got to ask anything.
No more shame, no more shame in this game. No more shame, no more shame. I'm not alone. When you're at home, you got a story of your own. Why should I
Ready? Mike's on live.
Be ashamed. Why should I be ashamed? Why should I be ashamed? Then somebody said, what love got to do? What does love have to do with anything in this world, in this life? Can we love? And then Diana Ross, she sung a song, and it said, what the world needs now is love. And that's the only thing that there's too little of. And when I'm talking about love, I mean real, the God kind of love, real, true love. Love is kind. Love is gentle. Love is peaceful. Love is not jealous. Love is not puffed up. Love does not backbite. Love does not try to just, it's all about me. Love, love, love. Hey, can we be loved? Can we be lovable after we have experienced sexual abuse? Let me say from my experience and from talking to other people that have been the victim, or may I say the survivor of sexual abuse. In the beginning, oftentimes your love language becomes so distorted, so tainted, so confused, because after all, you have love and trust are parallel. And then you have this person or person who has taken advantage. You have also the people that did not listen, did not come to your rescue, left you to not feel love. And sexual abuse is tragic. It is a crime. It should go reported. It's never too late to report it. It should go reported. Because oftentimes we don't even want to talk about the abuse, and it's the different parts and the different triggers. I'm over 60 and I'm still having things that are brand new, like the thought. I remember my abuser saying to me, "I'm sorry what I did to you. I just was so in love." Why would you be in love with a 16-year-old, a 15-year-old, a 14, because you've been watching a long time? And it was not love. And I'm looking at him, James Solomon, as he apologized, he called it love. It was not love what I experienced from him. And even in the conversation, even in the apology, it was not love. It was just another way of controlling the situation. But let me speak to my sisters and my brothers that have experienced this, or those of you that are dealing with a wife, a husband, someone that has had sexual trauma in their life, listen, we are lovable and you can love them. And those of you that had a terrible experience, it does not mean that you're not worthy of love. And I think sometimes after these tragic experiences, we throw ourselves away, or we throw our bodies away, and we feel just so X'd out. We feel like we don't deserve to be loved. When you've been abandoned, when you try to tell your story, nobody listens, no one understands, and then you get all messed up in the head, in your head space. And most often we don't have therapy, and if we do, we have it 50 years later and just think we have lived with this trauma for all this time. So I want to say to you, yes, you are lovable. I love you, God loves you, and you are lovable. And sometimes what you have to train yourself and your brain to get away from what is not love, to get your healing, to get your peace, to be drawn to that which is good, that is pure, and to be, you can start now loving yourself. And I'm here to tell you that you are worthy of love. You have to become open. And one thing that I had to do, I had to forgive. I can't forget it, but I had to forgive. And that really taught me about forgiving through my whole life. Because not only did I have to learn and practice forgiving through the sexual abuse, but I had to learn to forgive myself. I had to learn to forgive my family. I had to learn to forgive in all relationships. Because if you're going to be in a relationship, most of the times everything is not going to go your way. So you have to really, that gave me freedom. It was a process to forgive and take care of you, take care of your business. What I mean by taking care of your business, your mind, your body, and your soul. That is your business. That is your responsibility. Once you become of age of maturity, it's your responsibility to take care of your business. Now, one thing I can say is why we don't feel love. I think because sometimes in that space, you don't feel that you can trust anyone. When you have been taken advantage of, that next obstacle is trust. Who most often, I know a lot of people that has had trauma, sexual experience, they really deal with trusting. Some situations, some areas in their life, they're never able to trust again. They really have a lot of, like women that have children, and if you've been molested when you were a child, they're very overly protective of their children or their children's children. And we know that everybody is not a pervert, so we know that some people can be trusted, but in your mindset, in your thinking, it's hard to trust that. And so we deal with a lot of trust issues, and it's lost after sexual assault, which make it hard to love, because in order to love, you have to have a measure of trust, of forgiveness, of openness, of value. Because love is kind, love is pure, and love is rich, and love is worthy, and we have to learn to trust again so we can live this life. If we're going to live in this life, you want to love human life. And some people close the door forever, or they may love animals, or they may love things, or they may love, experiences, and So that's the travesty of the human when you've been touched in the wrong way, that sometimes it's hard to love humans and forgiveness. But I believe if you realize today that you have not taken care of your business, taken care of yourself, and allowing yourself to get therapy, you can become the person that you were initially in this world to be. And I often say, I don't say that I am the woman that I am because of being molested or being sexual abused, but I say that I am the woman that I am, and you are the woman and man that you are in spite of sexual abuse. Because you don't have to be sexual abuse to be educated, to be financially stable, to have a good job, to have good relationships. We didn't need that. You can be anything you want to be, but in spite of these things, and that's what I talk about on this channel, is sexual abuse, everything sexual abuse. In spite of, you can be anything that you want to in spite of. So what is love to a person that have been sexually abused? What is that? What does that look like? I know I don't have a lot of time tonight to talk about everything, but one thing that I truly can say that what love looks like when you've been sexually abused. What do we look for? What does it take to experience love from me? To experience from love from someone that has had trauma. It takes, I look for that safe place, which again aligns with trust. That's one of the most important things. Even in abusive relationships, I remember one time just going to the hospital. I didn't know where to go. I didn't have anywhere else to go. I just went to the hospital and sat there. And a lady asked me, how can I help you? And I said I couldn't go home. But I knew that the hospital was a place of care, a place of refuge, so to speak. And I looked for that safe place. So one thing I would say that if you in a relationship with someone that has had a sexual experience, trauma, they're looking for safety. They're looking for security, and not necessarily you, but the environment. You have to be a person of honesty. You have to be a person that where there's not lies and deception, because that's not safety. Anything like that is going to be a trigger. Lies is a big trigger for me. It really takes me back to a place where there's no trust, there's no honesty. So safety is very important, security. It's a place where you can close your eyes, so to speak, put your purse down, let your hair down, and when you open your eyes, everything is still well. You have I was just looking at some of the, Bill Cosby and how some of the women said they were put to sleep. Just no safety, no trust. And not only that, we look for that protection. If we're going to be in a relationship, we want a man that's going to protect. We want our fathers to protect. We want our brothers to protect us. We want our sisters, our friends. I look for a certain kind of protection, even with my friends, a safe place where I can confide and where they will build me up and not tear me down. I look for those. And when they do opposite of that, there's a trigger that I'll begin to remove myself because where there's no safety, I feel that I'm being deceived, I'm being tricked, and they can take me down into any place. Then I look for, can you have intimacy with a person? Of course you can, that has experienced and suffered abuse. Yes, you can have intimacy. And intimacy is just not some hard sex. It's not foursomes and threesomes. You can be intimate one-on-one with with that person. And I think that is so important for people that has had this experience. Being able to have a loving,
I came that close.
caring relationship, intimacy, even a sexual relationship. You may have to learn how to have sexual relations, because sometimes your partner can trigger or take you back, and you have to learn how to move forward. But it all starts up in healthy mental care, because if the mind is healthy, then the body can follow. But you just can't not take care of your mental health and expect everything. So you have to take care of your mental health. You know, we always talk about going to therapy, having people to talk to, having a place where you can be truthful and honest too. So yes, you can love someone that has been traumatized. You want to, there's a few different things. We want to be in our right mind, and touching, it should be done with respect, kindness, gentleness, patience, caring. If we're going to have an intimacy, you know, it's nothing more than someone that is just rude, overbearing, loud, demanding, domineering, pushy, controlling, fussing. You know, you're trying to get your mind to at ease, a place of ease. And that's what a person that has been sexually abused need. They need a place of patience and kindness. And another thing, the third thing I want to talk about is being patient. We should be patient in the first place. A sexual abuse person is looking for patience, because if you want to see me run away from some people, you let them be short, snappy, snazzy, always ready to fight, battle, and scream, and drama and trauma. I cannot stand drama and trauma. I cannot stand the ideal of threats and, you know, people talking about just
What?
all this trauma. What are you guys saying over there? What did you say? Oh, they over there. I hope they don't get into it. But a lot of times, you know, you cannot always read a person. People like to read you by your confidence, or read you like I'm on here tonight. It doesn't mean that I've mastered everything. It just means that I study, I research, I listen. And I really believe that sometimes, like I'm kind of a reserved person when I speak about myself. I just sit back, and I'm not looking for you to fail. I'm not looking for you to fall. I don't want to see you fall. I want to always encourage. And I always think about my mother, how as tragic as her life was and her lifestyle, some of these things she chose herself, and she got into these bad relationships, especially with this man. I think about how kind she was and how loving she was, and oftentimes she gave that because that's what she wanted in return. And so, what are you giving? I see a lot of trauma out here in the world today. I was watching some Karens, and you know, I often wonder what happened to people that they can be so violent, that they can be so mean. I don't really have a great concern for the persons that abuse me. But I just look at life and I just wonder, why are you so mad? Why are you so mean? Why do we have so many opportunities to fix it, to become better before we just lash out? But now today it looks like the whole world is lashing out, and they say 1 out of every 5 women has been molested, and 1 out of every 4 men has been molested. And that's just the ones that may have told somebody, that told somebody, that told somebody. What about the 2 people that didn't tell anyone? So we have to, when you see these people, they're angry, they're often lashing out, they're often pointing the finger, and they're always not telling the truth. I just look at them and the story gets so twisted around because it's twisted around up here. But even in that respect, everyone needs love. So I was talking about being reserved. A lot of times people that have been sexually abused, the point I was trying to make, they don't seem to bond easy. And when you done been from foster home to foster home, and you done been pulled from here and no stability, you done moved from here to, you move this address, you start school over here, that's a lot of detachment. You start getting attached. I remember I was attached to my cousins in Chicago. We got pulled from there. Then we got attached to our family and bloodline in Detroit, and we got snatched out of there. Then we were in foster home. Then we were even in an orphanage. And then how do you expect someone to bond? I had to really learn about friendship as an adult because we were constantly being tore apart and detached. And I know sometimes siblings, they don't even understand. Why can't you attach to me? Why, or maybe some of your siblings, maybe some of your family don't understand. Why is this so easy for that person to detach? Because of the lack of trust. And once the trust is gone, it takes so much for me to have recovery with you. It takes a whole lot, and it takes a whole lot of time. And sometimes people want to, bam, hit you in the head or say things to you and embarrass you. And they want you to come back over. Come back. And I'm like, no. For me, oftentimes I'm kind of done. It's over. It's nothing you can do to restore it. Once it's finished, it's finished. I can forgive you, but I probably won't see you anytime soon. So have patience with that person when you see that they've been traumatized. Some of you have foster children and you wonder why they don't connect. I've had children in my home. They would not connect with my family, and then when I would see them with their family, maybe they have visitation or something, and they would just get connected because that's their connection, and so we try to make people connect. And it's very hard when you have lost trust, intimacy, and safety. When you don't have those things. And in relationship, you have to have love, trust, and respect. And that is everything. So I just want to tell you once again that you are valued, you are worthy, God loves you, and I love you too. Now I want you all to use kind words. Use kind words. And if that's what love and kindness have I drawn thee. If I push away from you, it's because you're not using kind words, and you want to make me not use kind words, and I don't want to. I just don't want to. People often say, well, why don't you tell them what they've done? I think you kind of know what you've done. Let me ask these guys before we get out of here. I'm going to ask a question. I see somebody is having seeds. Somebody is hiding behind. But I'm going to ask someone this question. Are you all ready for the question? Here's my question that I want to know. When you're dealing with safety, patience, trying to bring restoration, even to this generation, there's such a disconnect. What do you think? What do you think? We talked about Father's Day, no fathers in the home. What do you think it is, the lack thereof? What is it? The lack of respect? Why can't we seem to get restoration sooner than later?
And when you say restoration, what do you mean for women who have experienced abuse?
Not just women, but women and men. Why does it seem so hard? And I forgot where I left off because I was going somewhere.
Love is kind.
Love is kind. I left off on love is kind.
Yes, you were talking about that love is kind. Then you were going to ask us a question.
Let me see. Well, my question is, number one, why do you think men or women that has been sexual abuse, from you all's point of view, why do you think they feel that no one loves them or they feel unlovable? And maybe that's the same question.
I believe, and I'm not sure exactly what angle Broderick will deal with it. However, I feel this, that a person who has suffered abuse would feel unlovable or unwanted. I think it has a lot to do with the shame that is associated with the actual act of abuse. That a lot of times the victim, even though they are the victim, they're the ones that carry most of the shame. And so that shame, it resonates throughout their entire life unless they learn to deal with it and know that it's not their fault and that it was nothing they could have done. They couldn't have been a better person and this not happened. It's not because of who they are or the mistakes they made that this thing happened. So in regards to that, that makes a person feel like they are unlovable because they're still dealing with the fact that they think is something that is somewhat their fault that they were actually victimized in the first place. So I think that's why they feel they're unlovable, because they haven't really rationalized and dealt with the fact that it was not their fault, and that even if they were perfect, this thing that happened to them still could have happened. And if it was going to happen, it would have happened. So just carrying around the shame associated with an abusive act, especially a sexual abuse act, it would cause you to close yourself off and to become somewhat recluse. So that's what I feel.
I think they have it, why they may feel that way is because it's almost like love is cloudy. It's because I heard love is this, love is kind, love is patient, and we go through that, and but then we see all that, but those things didn't happen to me, because I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling pain. So love just seems a little bit cloudy, because I can't figure it out. We say one thing, but what my experience is different, And so then when you get to a place of someone really loving you, because what happens in abuse is that what I hear and what I see and hear is that the abuse happened, and then sometimes that abuser, well, I love you. You don't want to do this, I'm sorry. You go through all of that. And love no, that's not love. And so, or when a person that is abused with their abuser, rather, because it could be their husband, we talk about a broad things of, sexual abuse and all those things, and then I'm out in public, and everybody see this great person or great man and all those things, not knowing what you're going through at home. Exactly. And they're saying, oh, you have a good man. Oh, he does this, oh, this man loves you. And so now it's like people seeing this, but on the inside, well, maybe he do loves me. No, he don't. No, love is not, that is not love. That's, no, that's abuse.
Absolutely.
And so I think, it's, because then you like what you wanted from someone or your mom. You told the story and did not, it was just different, so that person wants to feel that and think that, okay, this person see it, I like what they think how we are or how it is, or with my mom, I told her and she didn't believe me and all that stuff, and it's just real cloudy, it's just real cloudy, and we have to have more conversation like we're having, that is not okay, that is not love,
Wow, thank both of you. Listen, I think, we kind of, oftentimes you hear that people that have been sexually abused, they come very promiscuous. And I think they disassociate love with their sexuality. They just throw it away. It's not gonna be better anyway. Just do what you want. I've even heard women say, I just told them, well, just take it. Everybody else does. And you get into that vulnerable place and you don't want to love. But I'm gonna ask both of you, because you all know a little bit about me after all, we've been doing this for a couple years and you hear me talk, but you also have said to me that as my husband, he know that I don't, once you do things, and I know God says 7 times 7, I can forgive you, but I can disconnect from you so quickly. I've heard Broderick say that you don't seem too concerned. I've heard people say, why aren't you crying? Why don't you? Sometimes I might cry if I cried on The Color Purple, but I don't just become broken just because you want me to, or cry because you want to me to. So honey, do you want to answer that question?
Well, first of all, I'm trying to get the question. What is that exact question again, if I may?
Why do you feel like I don't bond, and how can you help me to bond more?
Well,
and if you're scared to answer the question because you're scared you're not going to be able to sleep tonight, you better let Broderick answer it, because he got to go home to his own life.
Well, I just know that I think this is probably a question.
I need some therapy.
Question as a response to something Broderick may have said that you're a little.
You said too, because you always trying to get me to go back into a relationship with people that have brought destruction in my life.
Well, when Broderick was answering his question, he didn't get a lot of energy while he was talking, and
okay.
The voice of did you? Okay, so I just think this, honey. I think sometimes a powerful woman can actually not be underestimated, but they just expect you to be powerful in all walks.
Who is they?
People, period. The fact that you're powerful, they expect you to have a powerful response to negativity, a powerful response when people are try to bring you down, a powerful response when people try to pull you out of your element. So I believe it just speaks to the purpose of your call and who you are, that people are always trying you. And some of it is not out of hate. Some of it is because people want a person to stay on the mountain. Now, here's the thing. The person that they want to stay on the mountain, which is you, they do understand that your life is a life of peaks and valleys. You don't live on the mountain all the time, but they want, when they deal with you, you to take the bigger role, you to be the bigger person,
Yes.
you to be the queen when they want to act like a peasant. And so I think that's what it is. So for you to not take it so personal that they're attacking you, but they're saying, hey, you wear powerfulness so well, then be powerful and be a role model and be the bigger person. And for some reason they keep testing you with that. And I know you probably get tired of it, but it doesn't make it won't make your purpose or who you are any less noticeable, because people can just meet you and they just expect you to be the bigger person. They just expect you to speak to them. People consider you superstar status, and we're not there, but people look at you and they just expect you. It's as if you walked in a room and your favorite superstar was there and you were sitting at the table and Patti LaBelle said nothing to you. You would leave that dinner saying, you know what, I'm never listening to her stuff again, because you just wanted her to be nice. Well, people have put you in that position, and unfortunately, they won't remove you unless you remove yourself. But you're not going to remove yourself, because you're not going to leave your house without combing your hair. You're not going to ever let yourself go. You're going to always keep yourself in a certain light. So that is the response to you being the queen that you are. Roger?
Thank you for the
Sure.
vote of confidence.
Mm-hmm. So I would say, we all experience or live our life, with past experiences. And sometimes what happens is, because even I had to learn this for myself, is that I may not do a whole lot of fellowship to myself. I don't allow people in my circle. Very, very, very few people are in my circle. And the thing is because for me, for Broderick, has been hurt by people who I have opened myself to, and hey, I really thought that we were bros. When I would call you a brother, yeah, trust. And if I said you were my brother, I'd do anything, whatever. And then what happened is that person, something changed. But what I've learned, and I had to, when I prayed about this, for me, when I learned is that I had to, what God was saying is that, you know what, your expectation of that relationship or that friendship or whatever, you came up with that. That was not, that person, their expectation is totally different from yours. So what I was trying to live off of how I would do that. If I called your bro, you 3 o'clock in the morning, you can call me, I'm gonna be right there. Now it can be the other way around. I call, they're not there, or can't be found, or whatever, and then I'm mad because I'm like, oh my goodness, I do that, but that's just me. So what I had to learn was I could not treat everybody that way. I had to be open to a friendship or whatever, and learn and things like that, and not treat everybody the same way. So it's kind of like knowing for myself and getting everybody a clean slate, But then my discernment would kick in. We're like, okay, I definitely gonna leave you alone.
Yes.
So I think with you, with all of the experiences that you have had, because you have been hurt by many people, you were abused. You had people in relationship abused by their mouth or saying different things. So you're very careful. That's what I say. You're very careful, but we have to give everyone an opportunity to prove themselves to be worthy or to be in your space, right? And so I think for you, you're very careful. But as Pastor says, the superstar that you are, people do want to be around you and things like that. So therefore, it's kind of like you have a different, you have a great vibe that people enjoy, But then some people are jealous of that, So it's kind of you're able to discern which one is that, regarding that. So I just think that your presence, people love to be in your presence.
Absolutely.
But what happens is because of some guards or something, or because of past experience, you're very careful, which is okay. But allowing people to prove themselves,
Absolutely.
to be allowed to be in your space,
Oh, wow. Well, that's just very humbling.
My Cash App is $sign.
Woo! I promise you, I didn't pay them to say that. That is very inspiring, and it's very humbling. And sometimes, oh wow! But I think what I heard you all say to me, all I kept hearing was expectation.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I don't really want to do to people what they do to me.
Mm-hmm.
I try to grow
Mm-hmm.
and go past some of the bad behaviors that I've experienced. And if I keep feeling this urge that you're going to keep taking me down that path, then I remove myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think sometimes as my husband, he's like, get back in there. It's almost like I feel that you guys, yeah, that's it, Holy Spirit. It's like you all, they bang me in the head. You like, go back in the room. You know you're the first lady. Go back in the ring. You know you're a superstar. Get back in that ring. You know you can fight it. Get back in that ring. You know that didn't hurt that bad. Get back in that ring. See? Put your makeup on. Get back in that ring. Put your hat on. That's how I feel. It's like, go back in there. They ain't gonna kill you. One lady said, Mama gonna get her gun. Go on out there. It's okay. Go on and visit with them. The man called you a bee. Go back in there, Sheila. Go back in there. You know you stronger than the bee. And I'm like, listen.
Exactly.
I'm not Muhammad Ali, or what's his daughter name?
Layla
Ali can really box. And so you take all these hits and dodges and things like that. And I'm over here trying to survive, and everyone is looking at me like, get back in the ring. Now, I do have to say, I really do thank you all for what you said. That was very positive. But God has said, I will fight your battles. Because I remember this young lady that, I'm not going to give you the whole scenario because I don't really want you to know, but we had experiences of like 3 or 4 years of being in the same place. They had all the opportunity to talk to me, and when they began to remove from my environment, they were like, you're this, and I couldn't bring myself to call them a name. They wasn't nowhere around. They were on the phone, but what they were saying was nothing nice. It was kind of violent. It was almost like she wanted to make this deposit that was negative, but I couldn't bring myself, because in my mind I wanted to say, honey, but I'm not even gonna go into it. I could feel myself, and people, as much as God try to hold us and keep us, people don't know that they can provoke you to be in the bad place. So that's why when I'm trying to be reserved, you guys, I'm trying to hold her back and let her go sit down somewhere and be reserved and respect the calling, respect the strength that God has given me, respect the ability of not to do to others. Because I've done that in life before. You hurt me, so this is what I'm going to do. But I didn't like the outcome. I didn't like the outcome of the so-called revenge factor or hurting someone because they hurt you and now you. I didn't like that feeling because I still was wrong. And so I'm glad I'm glad you all love me. I think I've heard Pastor Foster I remember years ago, he put it like this: be thankful that people want to even be around you. And I am thankful that people, they say they like me. It don't be feeling like what you all saying it is. But okay, if you all say they like me, and I guess if I did see Diana Ross, if I did see Patti LaBelle, see, I can respect people in their space, because I was in the hallway with Shirley Caesar. I was in the room with Kimberly Ray. I even had to do the prayer for Kimberly Ray, and I was really in the starstruck mode, but I didn't act like it. But I reserved and gave them that space and understood. Maybe they didn't feel like all that, right? Sister Shirley Caesar, Pastor Shirley Caesar, she just looked and said, "Oh, you're very pretty," and she looked straight ahead. I wanted to take a picture. It was just me and her. I wanted to be bothered, but I didn't do that. So I didn't call her anything. So I guess we have to be at a mature place and understand that sometimes I'm in survivor mode. Anytime I remove myself from anyone is because I'm in survivor mode. I don't want to be nasty. I don't want to talk to you or misuse you. I want to forgive. And sometimes my forgiveness is kind of blindness. It's like these curtains. Forgive them and it's blacked out. Forgive them and see them no more. That's my practice. Forgive them and stay out of their space. Forgive them and put somebody else in their ring. Let them beat up on someone else. That's what I do. So listen, get a copy of this book, Why Should I Be Ashamed? And have a conversation. Have an understanding, and remember, love is kind, love is kind, love is kind. It doesn't backbite. Love is kind. And what the world needs is love. Love don't lie. Love is not jealous. Love doesn't, for the most part, be authentic. Don't let people change you. Don't try to be like anybody else. We learn from each other. We mark the perfect man. We mark the things you do well, and we try to apply that in our mind, body, and soul. So take care of yourselves. Take care of yourself and love yourself. And send me $20 and get that book. Come on now, get that book. Get a group going on. Get a book club going on at your house, and let's sit down, let's read this story, and let's share. Because if you invite 5 people, I tell you 1 out of 5 has been blessed, or they know someone and they need this freedom. So I am free today. Thank you. I feel better. Is this cape kind of like Superwoman?
What you mean? The thing.
What the world needs is love. What the world needs is love. What the world needs is love, love.
You paying attention? All loud with the headphones on. You ain't
What
paying
is you talking about, man?
Y'all was something else.
It's about to be a fight.